Their passion for fashion was criminal. By T. High. Hours 48 transcript, including brief descriptions of actions. Episode 84. One shopping mall, 2 stories. Host Presley Hall stands just inside the doors of the mall. She waves her hands around Vanna White style while speaking. Good evening and welcome to a special edition of Hours 48. I'm Presley Hall. Tonight we're filming inside a location relevant to 2 very different and distinct stories. Drowston Park Mall. Our first story is Crimes of Fashion. It was terrible, and she'd wear stripes and polka dots together. That's dressing no 101. Purple and green. Who did she think she was? The Joker? She loved to wear pants, like actual pants, not leggings, under knee skirts, and socks with sandals. Here in the sleepy town of Drowston, a terror lurked, not unlike the boogeyman or nightmares, except this horror took place during the day. Ingrid Enbuckle was born into a large family. As the third of 5 children, she fell in the dreaded middle child slot and performed the role from the beginning. Her mother has vivid memories of Ingrid acting out as a child. Screen dissolves to Hall and Mrs. Enbuckle sitting in a living room. Pictures of a female child at various ages hang above the ladder. In one, a pink-haired teen with braces wears a neon orange sweater with pink suspender straps. A peacock pin sits on one band, its plumage adding to the Crayola of colors. She either wanted what the older children got or wanted the baby privileges the younger children had. She never seemed to want to act her own age. Did it continue as she grew? Oh, it got worse. As Ingrid got older, her attempts at attention weren't as successful as they used to be. That's when she started dressing funny. Can you define funny? Well, she seemed to forget the rules I taught her about dressing. She started wearing colors that clash, and she'd wear high waters on purpose, and she'd even put her clothes on inside out sometimes. It was terrible. And she'd wear stripes and polka dots together. That's dressing no 101. She did just to get a rise out of us, I think. Did it work? Well, sorta. We'd yell at her. But I guess bad attention's still attention, right? But then when she got older, she seemed to enjoy the effect it had on the other kids. Schoolmates, I mean. How so? Well, she'd come home from school bragging about kids complaining about the loud colors she was wearing. She'd say, "Mama, Sherry said I almost blinded her. It was so funny." Screen sidewipes to Hall and a blonde woman standing in front of Orange Julius in the mall. That's right. She'd wear the ugliest clothes to school and jump in front of the bathroom mirror when it was time to brush my hair. It made my head hurt. Did she do that to just you or no? She did it to everybody. She especially liked to do it in the lunchroom. Just as I was about to bite into my brownie, she'd jump in front of the table yelling, "How you like me now?" It was so hard not to barf. And this continued outside of school, correct? Yes. Sherry walks down the middle of the mall, Hall beside her. She eventually started coming to the mall and harassing people here. Ironic, huh? Like she was thumbing her nose at all these nice clothing stores. Sherry waves her hands at Old Navy. She points to the Gap. I got sick of it and called the fashion police on her during senior year. And what happened? She just got probation and sentenced to a 10-day dressing for success course. But soon as the year was over, she was right back at it, and it seemed to get worse. How so? Well, instead of just loud clothes or colors that mismatched, she started wearing just weird stuff. Like, she loved to wear pants, like actual pants, not leggings, under knee skirts, and socks with sandals. Talk about a killer look. Like jeans under a midskirt? Yep, or she'd wear a bra on top of her clothes, even panties one time, like she was Superman or something. Then, when an artisan's shop opened up here, she started getting garish clothes made there. Like nothing store-bought was frightful enough anymore. She really seemed to bask in the attention she'd get then. She was real dedicated to her cause then? I'd say. It got to where a lot of people had the fashion police on speed dial, but it never helped. She'd just get probation or have to do community service someplace. And that's when the media, you guys, started calling her the Textile Terror. Screen cuts to Hall and a brunette sitting in an interrogation room. Staff Sergeant Snazzy. We understand the Textile Terror, birth name Ingrid Ingbuckle, had a long, ugly rap sheet with the FPD. Is that right? Snazzy flips through a thick folder, scans a few pages. That's right. For instance, she'd pair purple and green. Who did she think she was? The Joker? Snazzy holds up a picture of the culprit sporting rainbow hair and wearing a grass-colored polo shirt with dark violet suspenders, lilac pants, light green socks, and neon purple flip-flops. An emerald green fake rose bedecs her purple belt. Hall shudders. In fact, she spent many years on our top 10 fashion fugitive list. Yes, we did keep arresting her, but we could never get the charges to stick like Velcro, you see. We needed to get her on something even more major to put her away. But you didn't? No, we had her under surveillance for a time, then she just disappeared. Scream morphs to Hall standing alone in front of the mall. And so ended the Textile Terrorist crime spree. Or did it? More from Hours 48 after the commercial. Presley Hall stands in front of a small shop. The neon lights of the store name, Hide and Sleek, are out. Welcome back to Hours 48. Our next story also features Drowston Park Mall, and this store specifically. This story is Crimes of Passion. Real tattoos make for the best designs. I knew the differences in how the tattoo ink acts in human skin. Really gives new meaning to the phrase, "I'll tan your hide," doesn't it? Here in Drowston, an even more sinister specter than the Textile Terror lurked. And this one didn't just offend citizens' sensibilities, it stopped citizens' senses entirely. Another middle child, the second of three, Thomas Pure was a quiet child who eschewed sports and favored playing with dolls, baking, and sewing. In high school, Thomas faced harassment from students, male and female alike. The boys picked on him for pursuing girly stuff, and the girls laughed at his attempts to make stylish clothing. In time, his skills improved, and his buried resentment in response to being ostracized surfaced, manifesting in the most horrifying way possible, at this very mall. Screen morphs to Hall and a stocky detective sitting in an interrogation room. So, Detective Boone, people started disappearing from the mall shortly after Thomas Pure opened his artisan shop, is that right? That's correct. However, even though the timing was coincidental, we had no reason to think he was involved. So what made the department cast your eyes on him as a suspect? Well, a local tattoo artist recognized his custom design artwork, which he had drawn on a regular customer, on a vest. That is when we suspected that the artisan was, well, using human skin as his special leather? Exactly. Really gives new meaning to the phrase, "I'll tan your hide," doesn't it? Screen cuts to Hall and a multi-tattooed man with multiple earrings, nose rings, eyebrow rings, etc., sitting in a tattoo studio. So Mr. Flapjacks, just Flapjacks, ma'am, please. Okay. So Flapjacks, you were instrumental in helping the DPD close in on a suspect in the disappearances at Drowston Park Mall, is that correct? Yeah, that's right. When you saw your design on that vest, how were you sure it wasn't just a replica on leather? Well, having got my certificate in tattooing this, I knew the differences in how the tattoo ink acts in human skin versus other skins like crocodile or snake or whatever. Has to do with suppleness and whatnot. Did it freak you out seeing your customer's back turned into a vest? Sure did, yep. Flapjack lifts his tattoo gun. Say, you wanting a tattoo while you're here? I got the perfect rose for you. Screen sideswipes to Hall standing in front of Chillicothe Correctional Institution. As anyone following the news knows, the artisan was given the moniker Coyote Clyde due to his opportunistic tendencies and his taking advantage of the most available prey, as well as to his having a pet coyote. And he is now awaiting lethal injection, having been caught by the DPD, convicted, and sentenced after authorities found dozens of partially flayed bodies buried in his garden. In an exclusive interview, I will be speaking with the former artisan in an inside look at the man's mind. Screen dissolves to Hall and a thin, bald man with gold teeth sitting in a plain white room. The man, Coyote Clyde, wears handcuffs and feet cuffs while a prison guard stands watch behind him. So, Mr. Pure, you are now awaiting lethal injection for the deaths and mutilations of over 24 people.
Call me Coyote. Yeah, I was convicted, but I ain't sorry.
Coyote smiles wide, showing off his metallic choppers. Coyote, can you tell our audience why you did what you did? Why human skin, when there were other creatures you could have used, like crocodiles, snakes?
Humans are snakes, lady. They're snakes that prey on others. The innocent, the vulnerable, the ones who are different than them.
So this is revenge on those who've wronged you? Or people like them?
Exactly. Plus, human skin makes the nicest clothes besides.
Coyote licks his lips.
You ever seen a nice motorcycle jacket made out of properly tanned man? Nothing like it. And real tattoos make for the best designs, too. Or a dress made of real woman can't be beat. But it can be tanned hard. Smells good too. When I'm working the skin, I likes to get right up close to it and take a whiff. Some skin smell like cologne or perfume. Other smells like deodorant. Some just smells like funk or human. That kind makes my you know.
Coyote places his cuffed hands under the table, moans.
Stop that!
Hall shudders. Well, I can't say I
also killed that there textile whatever person that was on the news for a while.
You killed her? You're confessing to that on national TV now? Citizens had assumed she just disappeared and...
Sure did. She was a affront to humans and fashion alike, walk around in them ugly clothes.
Coyote scowls.
I made her into something right nice, something to be proud of. A matching set for once. And my coyote had a nice little meal besides.
Screen birds in Hall standing in front of the news desk at WDIE News. Coyote Clyde is due to die by lethal injection after the turn of the new year. Next week on Hours 48, we'll be covering the man convicted of murdering citizens to use their bodies as mannequins in his shop.